Cristo Rey Podcast, the Cristo Rey Podcast, coming at you. A podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast, almost too good to be true. Now have you ever wondered if there's life after Cristo Rey? Well, today we have a group of Cristo Rey graduates to prove it to you. If you are a senior when most of them were seniors, you were in the 8th grade. And if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. I mean, seriously, where does the time go? Podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast, right in your ears. Podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast, Cristo Rey Podcast. Oh boy, here it comes.
Welcome everybody. Nice to see you all. Today you are present at Cristo Rey Podcast live broadcast with our special college students here who used to actually go to Cristo Rey. So we're glad to have them here. You can give yourselves a virtual round of applause. We're going to start off with having everybody introduce themselves and just let the people know who you are and what school you go to or any other fact about yourself.
So my name is Ibrahim Al-Hassan. I'm a freshman at Ohio State University, and my major is social science, air transportation, and the professional pilot track, because I want to become a pilot.
My name is Charmaine Jamar. I was part of the 2017 graduating class, and I go to Mount Carmel College of Nursing.
My name is Miriam. I was also part of the 2017 graduating class. I go to OSU currently for my major in biomedical engineering.
My name's Trinity Mosley. I'm a sophomore at Claflin University. I graduated Cristo Rey in 2019. My major is psychology.
My name is Florence. I'm part of the 2019 class. I currently attend the Ohio State University. I'm a sophomore, and my major is biochemistry. I'm going into medicine.
All right, that's all of the students that we have here today. You're also joined with your regular podcast host, me, Brianna Blankson, Nehemiah Clayton.
What's up?
Gada Longa.
Hey guys.
Rebecca.
Hi.
Helen.
Hey guys.
And Jaleel.
Hey guys.
So we're going to kick this off with one of the first questions that we have here. They're asking, how is life after Cristo Rey?
Life after Cristo Rey is great. Not to say that life at Cristo Rey wasn't great, but life after Cristo Rey is great because, obviously I'm in college. I have a lot of freedom. I'm guaranteed to do a lot of things that, I was still getting to do at Cristo Rey, but it's much better now. So it's great.
Hey, I'll say life after Cristo Rey is challenging just because you as a student in high school, you're in transition to becoming an adult. And while you're in college, you're still in that transition. I used to think that I was an adult as soon as I turned 18. That is not true. There's a lot of things you can't do. You still need your parents for, but there is that awkward time where you have to figure out things for yourself that you can't just call your mom or your dad or whoever takes care of you, because this is the time where you figure out what's best for you and you're supposed to start making decisions for yourself. So I found that to be really challenging. I've done things for myself, obviously, but it's just the fact that there's no one in charge of you anymore. So I found that to be more challenging, I guess, life after Cristo Rey, but it's fun to figure out stuff about yourself.
Well, yeah, like everybody else said, life after Cristo Rey is you basically get access to more opportunities. It's now you're about to go through life by yourself, and you still have the support of the teachers and the staff. You gotta find a way to not basically mess up because you're gonna go through those challenges. It's gonna be hard. It's still hard. So just don't give up. But there's still the fun aspect of it too.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys were able to share that with us. We have another question from Zunaika, who asks, you just now talked about opportunities. She wants to know, do you feel like Cristo Rey truly prepared you for college and all of these opportunities?
I think that Cristo Rey did a great job preparing us for a lot of opportunities. I use my skills that I used at my internships. Those are always good to use. And I just feel it was great. I just think I had great opportunities at Cristo Rey that I carried on into college. actually.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, also like Trinity said, basically if we didn't get those opportunities, like it wouldn't open doors now. Like so now people ask me like, how have you worked like 5 different jobs or 4 different jobs, or how do you have all these skills? And I'm like, well, and then it's like now I have to start with like how I went through the journey, and they just really shocked that as a 19-year-old girl, like I have all these wonderful experiences, and not everybody gets to go through that. So
Cristo Rey showed me some opportunities because I actually found Mount Carmel College of Nursing through Cristo Rey, because like the class of 2017 at Columbus Cristo Rey, we started from the bottom. Like we did not have that good building. Like we started from like the bottom up. And our building, like the building that we first started in was like right across the street from Mount Carmel West Hospital, and the college is connected to Mount Carmel West. So like that's where my opportunity came. I didn't even know that I was going to go to that school, what I was interested in or anything, until it was time to start looking at colleges. And then I was like, I really want to be a nurse. And then like I interned at Mount Carmel East twice, and I was like, yeah, this is where I'm going to go. Like I figured that out. So that was my opportunity, and it came while I was still in school. So that was like a good thing for me.
You can't really like be prepared for college until you actually get there, or like you don't know what you you can expect. But yes, Chris Ray did get me ready, because you know they gave me a lot of opportunities to learn, and like the jobs, the internships, it showed, like it helped me be more professional, you know, learn skills that I needed for the next level. So yes, in a way it did help me, but you can't really be ready until you actually get there.
With Cristo Rey, it helped. I learned time management and having a routine. And then also one major thing was how to make connections, networking with all the different, internships that we had. That's where I, met people, all my supervisors. And that's how I kind of that's why I have my job now at working at the diocese. But they also taught me, the expectations of professors, and I also learned, the advantages of meeting, connecting with those professors by going to office hours, and, even just to say hi. And Cristo Rey also helped me, get over the fear of asking questions. You know how they always tell you, ask questions. So that was really, really great.
Hello, this is Dr. Ragland, here to highlight another group that advocated and organized for racial justice, the National Association of Colored Women. The National Association of Colored Women was founded in 1896. Throughout the 19th century, Black women like Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, and Frances Ellen Watkins Harper participated in women's rights movements, but Black women as a whole were usually excluded from women's organizations. The suffrage movement did not advocate for the voting rights of all women. The National Association of Colored Women had an agenda that was focused on job training, wage equity, and childcare. They also called attention to issues such as lynching, prison conditions, and segregated transportation. This organization helped women and children suffering from poor health, lack of education, decent clothing, and substandard housing. It raised funds for education, kindergartens, childcare, vocational schools, summer camps, and nursing homes for the elderly. They not only advocated for the right of Black women to vote, but they also supported the right of Black men and all African Americans to have their civil and human rights. The first president of the National Association for Colored Women was Mary Church Terrell, and many other prominent Black women were a part of this organization and the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs. So anyone who can email me the name of another organization that fought for the rights of Black women, as well as one paragraph about what this organization did or what this organization does, if it still exists, will receive a special reward. My email address is aragland@crystalraycolumbus.org, and make sure that you listen to the podcast next week for another opportunity to do a challenge and to win another reward.
What's one thing you wish that you could give, like a piece of advice for people to take away from Cristo Rey? A lot of us aren't able to build the same connections this year because of the pandemic that's currently going on. But what's some pieces of advice you would give to the underclassmen or even the upperclassmen about that transition to college?
A piece of advice for transitioning to college would be to not be afraid to, I guess, fall down, because like you don't succeed in it. Like you can't succeed without like falling down, because there's no such thing as just like going straight in and doing perfect at everything. And I had to learn that. Like I can't be perfect at everything, because you have to learn how to do certain things. And if you don't know, then like there's no way to be perfect at something you don't know. So a lot of times you just have to go into something not knowing, which is what I did, because I know nothing about nursing, nothing about the like healthcare. Take your time at things, because college is a new thing once you get there. Like, and it's a big thing. Like there's guidance in some ways, but there's no guidance in other ways. And it's just you to figure it out. And so taking your time is like the most, I guess the best thing you can do for yourself is not to be in a rush to do everything at once. And that's with like moving out of your parents' house or finding your major. Some people go to school and don't even know what their major is. They just go to school to fill it out, and then they find something that they really like. Don't be in a rush just to do everything, because you may not like something and you then got yourself into it and you feel like you're stuck. And that's not a position you want to put yourself into. So just, that's my advice. Don't be in a rush.
My advice to you guys is it's okay to be lost. Accept that, like, it's okay to be lost. I'm gonna use myself an example, because when I first started, like my first semester, it was like really terrible. And I thought, oh, let me just use the same thing that I learned in high school and just do that. And it didn't work out. I ended up failing a bunch of my classes. And I remember I was just sitting like in my living room crying that I'm literally gonna like drop out. That's when I started making phone calls to teachers, to my parents. They're like, you got this. Just start asking questions, start asking for help. The resource is there. It's okay. Like, people gonna tell you like what they know. They're gonna be like, oh, do this, do that. But at the end of the day, you just have to like sit down and pick what's best for you. Because if you listen, it's good to listen to others, but like, you need to like take that and then like draw out what you think you're going to use for yourself. Because if you listen to all of it and if you just run with it, it's not going to really go well. But yeah, it's okay to fail. It's okay to get lost. It's okay if you don't know, because it's the time for you to learn and get better and continue to get better.
And also time management. You have to try to stay on top of things, and know what you're doing, know what you have to do, and just stay on top of everything. I'm gonna also use myself as an example. Like, for example, I want to be a pilot, and for my course, I have to take 3 exams and have an 80% average. I took the two first exams, everything was great, but the last exam, it snuck up on me. I wasn't ready. I didn't even know we had an exam. I forgot, because I guess I could say I procrastinated a lot. It threw up my entire average. I passed the class. I had a good grade for the class, but because my average was not there, I had to literally repeat the entire course, or I would not be able to start flying. So you have to stay on top of things, and it's okay to not know, or it's okay to fail, because you just have to use that as a lesson and learn. Do it again so you can better yourself.
No, that's some really good advice. Thank you guys so much for that, because I know even in high school, it's difficult for us to keep us with our things. And then the idea of like being able to fall down and then get back up again is something that we need to accept, because if you don't, you're just going to think everything goes perfectly. And I guess, like you described, college isn't like that. So thank you for letting us know and clarifying that for us. It looks like we have another question basically on topic with this, asking, is college easier or harder than being at Cristo Rey? And how manageable is college than Cristo Rey?
The transition, like high school, you have everything, like the course that the teacher planned it out, what class to go to, like what homework is due. The teacher's gonna constantly remind you. Like college, that's the difference right here. College is not like that. College, you get emails from professors about syllabus, about books you have to read. And like the first week, they care for you showing up and listening to like what they got to say. But after the first week, they don't care. Like, it's all up to you. So if you don't take the time, or if you don't dedicate it to yourself to actually like take what you want to learn in college seriously, like you're going to end up just failing, or you're just going to end up missing a big exam, some small assignment, a project. So it's like how it's arranged for you in high school, it's not arranged for you in college. Like you gotta be your own teacher. I guess that's how I need to put it. You're like your own teacher, basically teaching yourself. I need to step up to get these assignments done. I need to go to these classes. I need to like attend this service for this class. Like you just gotta hold yourself accountable. Or else, yeah, that's the only thing like I would say I miss. The difference, like, oh, somebody say, oh yeah, come to this class, it's all arranged for you. No.
February 14th is St. Valentine's Day. With some more information on that, this is Mr. Lofshaw with your Theology Minute. There are actually many St. Valentines in the church. Some of them are martyrs, some are bishops and priests. St. Valentine's that we often celebrate on February 14th is a legendary story that we are not sure is historical, of a priest from 270 AD who was martyred for marrying couples in Rome when the Emperor Claudius II, said that it was illegal because he wanted men to serve in the military. Geoffrey Chaucer, who wrote Canterbury Tales, was one of the people who early on popularized this idea of a holiday for love associated with this day and these traditions. I think it'd be good to remember many of the Valentines, including the St. Valentine that is from the 3rd century, were martyred, and that martyrdom is about sacrifice of love for God, and think about how love as sacrifice can be a valuable way to think about love and showing love in a Christian setting. Maybe that's a good way to live out Valentine's Day today.
My first year, I mean, I tried my hardest. I gave it my all, but it wasn't my best year. It wasn't my best year by far. I got my first 2 C's I've ever gotten in my entire life, and I thought that was the end of the world. Well, at Mount Carmel, first of all, a C is a 73. That's where our starting is. And I just was like, this is the worst thing ever happened to me. But, like, the difference between high school and college, like, you just got to pass. Like, that's all you got to do. You just got to pass. You just got to get through it. No one cares. Not a job after, college, they are not going to ask you, what did you get your freshman year of college? That does not matter to them. They want to know, are you competent to do the job that they're asking you to do, that you're applying for? So, like, I had to get that through my head. Another thing that's different, like she said, your professors will not care if you don't show up. I mean, I am lucky enough to go to a smaller school, so they're going to notice. And I'm, like, actively involved in my school, so they're definitely going to notice if I'm not there. But, like, at the bigger colleges, or even like if you get a teacher who's like doesn't really care, then they're not really going to care if you care. So if you don't care and you're not putting in the effort and you're not turning in your assignments, they're not going to email you, they're not going to call you, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to let you slip through the cracks, and you're going to fail the class, or you're just going to pass by just a little bit, and you may not even know what you learned in that class, and if it's one of your core classes, you're going to need it. So, like, that's the difference. Cristo Rey is like, not just Cristo Rey, but high school in general is coddling you now. But when you get into college, you may not have that luxury, and it really is a luxury.
Going off what they've said, I would say it is challenging going into college, transitioning. I was just surprised on the free time I had. You just either between classes or especially if you're not working after, like while you're in college, you have a ton of free time. And it's just managing that time, learning to like schedule in, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my class. I'm going to do my homework for that class afterwards. Because of all that like freedom, as we've repeated, all that time, we can, it's easy to become distracted. Just continue just managing your time properly, setting a schedule.
Well, what I was going to say is basically everything that they said. Like, you're going to have a lot of time and freedom because at Cristo Rey, you have to go to school from 7:45 to 3:45. In college, there's a day that you don't even have any classes at all, or if you do. Like, the most class I have in a day is 3. And it's an hour each. That's only 3 hours in a day, and I'm done for the day. But that's like the problem, because you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to keep yourself on track, because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to call your parent that you didn't come to school today, or send a text, or that you were late. Like, nobody cares. You have to care for yourself, and you have to stay on top of things, because it's easy to get distracted, like real easy. And I'm speaking from experience, because you can say, oh, you know what? I have some time to do this. And then it just creeps up on you. You forgot, and you just have to stay on top of things, because there's just so much freedom, and you can get lost in that freedom.
I definitely would have to agree with that with time management. I play volleyball at my school, so I don't really have a lot of free time. I would have like 5 a.m. practices and then practices at like 3 o'clock. So I really had to like find a schedule that would work for me to fit everything in and still make sure I got my work done. But I think, yeah, you just got to prioritize everything and you just have to be serious about everything as well.
Thank you guys for all the advice. Like time management is everything that I even now struggle with. So having this advice telling us that there's a lot of free time and that we should like be accountable and find out, schedule our days and use our time is a very helpful tip. Thank you. And sophomore Rita said, how do you apply for scholarship? Is the college workload different than high school, and how much do grades matter in school, and what scores do people usually get in high school to be able to attend your colleges?
So for applying for scholarships, there's a bunch of different resources for applying for scholarships. Like there's thousands all over the internet that you can just apply to. I've gotten one scholarship that I just applied to, like seeing it, and it was real easy, and I didn't even know that I got it until like my school contacted me and told me. But a lot of institutions have like institutional scholarships. Like my school, we have scholarships that are just designed for my school, and the good thing about that, we have scholarships that are like specifically for freshmen, specifically for sophomore and juniors and seniors. So you're only competing with your class. So that is really helpful that you're not competing with the entire school. But most institutions will have some type of scholarship set up. And then also when you apply for colleges, if you get a certain grade point average or you score a certain score in your ACTs or SATs, they will give you scholarship money for that as well.
Well, for scholarships, I know like Ohio State has this resource called Scholarship Universe, I think, and it has a bunch of scholarships, and there are like filters that you can use to, specify scholarship for your major and all that, and you can apply for multiple scholarships with just one application.
So when it comes to the scholarship, right now, like I'm using myself as an example that when I'm right now I started off at a smaller campus, and when I first started, I didn't know that I had those chance to get the scholarship, because like when you first coming from high school to college, you're using like basically the GPA you have from college to start off, and it's like you're not about to like basically build off of the classes that you take, so you might not have access to certain scholarship because your GPA might be lower, or it might be like at a point where they want you to take like a couple of classes before you can get them. And also when you transition from a smaller campus to the bigger one, that's when you get access to more scholarship. And the more you keep your grade up, you get more money from your financial aid too. Yeah, because like I basically find that out 2 years ago. Like when my stuff went up, I seen my financial aid went up, and I was like, where is this extra money coming from? And nobody was telling me, oh, good grades equals more money. But I guess that's something that people forget to mention, that if you keep your grades up, you get more money, you get extra fun. And also you end up on, you get recognized too. You start getting emails to apply for this scholarship, apply for that. Grades do matter, because if it's good, more money, less debt on you. So.
Hi everyone, I am Shrujana Bastola, and I am the secretary for our school's JSA chapter. I wanted to inform you guys about WinterCon, which is going to be from February 26th through February 28th. Winter Congress is a convention usually held in DC, but because of this year's circumstances, it will be virtual, or we will be combining with Midwest and Southern California this year. You do have to register before the convention is held and make sure you apply for scholarships. It is on a first-come, first-served basis, so please make sure to apply early. Winter Congress is usually held as how Senate and House of Representatives is. So you have Senate on one side, and then you have House of Representatives on the other side, and then we all come together to vote on a bill. This will also give you many opportunities to learn and interact with people from different chapters and different regions as well. So please make sure to apply and register. And if you have any more questions, please make sure to reach out to any of JSA's cabinet members or Mr. Shoemaker. Thank you.
I would say the workload is different Like in high school, it's more of like you have like homework or like daily assignments. In college, it's more of like you just like submit your assignments. They'll give you like one assignment a week, or you'll have like a paper due, but it's not like a lot of like homework. It's just a lot of assignments, if that makes sense.
Well, I would say it depends on the class, because like I have one class where we literally have only 5 assignments for the entire semester. And then I have other class where we have like homework like my math class. We have homework like every single day. Every day we have a lecture, we have homework, and then every day we have a recitation, we have homework. So it just depends on the class, really.
Oh, and also about the workload, it also depends on your major that you take. So like whatever major you going into will determine how much workload you're going to have over the course of 4 years and what kind of classes you're going to take. And also don't forget to take your core classes, because if you don't have those, they're going to later like hunt you down. Like when you want to graduate, like, oh, you didn't take this class, so you can't graduate. So always make sure the classes that you're taking counts towards your major, counts towards your credit. Just a little reminder, because that always get left out.
It does matter. Your grades do matter in college, just because, like she said, scholarships. A lot of schools have institutional scholarships, so that does matter. You get better grades, you get good scholarships. As far as the workload, it does depend a lot of times on your major. Like I'm a nursing major, so I can't relate to them not having homework every day. I have homework every day. And in every nursing class, I have to write a paper. And in college, the one thing that I learned right away is APA format, because that's what like we're taught on a research base. So we have to use that. And like APA format is nothing like I've ever learned like MLA or anything like that. The workload can be different depending on your major. And that's even down to your core classes. Like all of my core classes were mostly science classes because I'm getting a science degree. And I still had to use like stuff I learned from my English class in my science degree, because that science degree, those science classes, because that science class will build into my nursing classes, which I will have to write papers. And so my English and my science all incorporated into my nursing classes. That is like why my workload is so busy. So like I'll have clinical paperwork, I'll have course paperwork, and then any other core classes I'm in, I'll have that paperwork as well. And then with each clinical that I'm in, I have a paper to write. Like I have a paper that's due on Friday. So like my workload is a lot all the time, especially when you get more closer to graduating. Your workload increases. It does not decrease. It increases tremendous amount, because they want to make sure that they prepare you enough to get out there and do whatever it is that whatever your desire was.
Thank you for all the helpful tips. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for sacrificing your time and be here and give us advices that we will need in the future. Student Nazareth, a sophomore, asked, what are challenges you faced in college so far?
I'm gonna use me as an example, because actually I just literally faced a couple of challenges that I thought it was over for me, but if God has a way for you, you're gonna be fine. Like a couple of challenges that I went through was the first one was basically I lived on campus for the first year, and that was where like everything started going downhill for me. It was when I was failing my classes, like I wasn't doing well emotionally, physically, and mentally. And it took somebody, which was Miss Didi. I'm gonna really shout her out for that, because that's when I actually got in contact with her. And then my parents and a couple of teachers and faculty. So they basically like I got talking to them, and they started like showing me how to get better for like my next semester. Like, no, you got another semester to basically make up for your classes, to bring your GPA up. And I thought I wasn't gonna actually do it. I was done for. And I put in the work the next semester. I made the dean list. I got more money from that, and I continued to stay in touch. And I thought, oh, I was done. Okay, that problem is gone. But it wasn't until I lost like my transportation this year. And now it's like, it sucks for me because I have no way of like going to school or going to work. And I actually thought of like quitting both. But when I was talking to her, they basically helped me out, set up like, I just did some work, scholarship work, basically talking to you guys, and also like talking to my school, and they are the resources. Anytime you have a problem, don't give up. Start talking to anybody, because I'm telling you, you can come find me if it doesn't work. You can come like, Florence, you told me this and it worked. I will help you. Like, I'm available anytime, just not during school week. But if you reach out to me, whatever it is, I will make sure personally to find somebody, an adult, to help you out. Because I really thought I was done for it till I started talking to her and a couple of people. And now I'm doing well, like being here two years in a row. So we thank God.
That is awesome.
Also, well, some challenges. Well, for me, I started at the Ohio State main campus, and the campus is so big, and you just have to find your way around. Like, I can have one class, like where I park my car and where my class is. It's like it can be like a 40-minute walk. I'll like park my car right, because you can park there will be a lot of spaces to park your car on the campus, but don't do it. You park your car there, you're gonna get a ticket. Just don't do it. But where I park my car and where one of my classes is, it's like a 30-minute walk. And in the winter, it's not fun. It's not fun walking through all that. But just finding your way around. And also another challenge, it was like what I mentioned earlier, like the exam, because I actually had the chance to get my flight slot this semester, which meant I was going to start flying this semester. But because of that one exam, it set everything back. But at the end of the day, you have to have a goal. And, as long as you have a goal, you just stay focused on that goal. There's going to be a lot of challenges that is going to try to throw you off, but you just got to focus on that one goal and just push for it. And that is my advice.
Hey everyone, Ava here. This Monday is President's Day, so I just wanted to say...
Hold on. Stop the show.
Mr. Corrigan, look, I'm trying to do something here.
I know everyone calls the third Monday in February President's Day, but did you know its official name is actually... Start the music. Washington's birthday.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Hardly anyone ever calls it that, though. Why is that, you ask?
I didn't.
Well, funny story. Washington's birthday is also a state holiday in most states, and the day has different names depending on what state you are in. In fact, there are 14 different versions of the name. Isn't that crazy?
You don't say.
In Maine, the day is called Washington's birthday / President's
I'm sorry,
Day.
everyone.
Virginia,
You know how he
Washington
gets
Day. In
sometimes.
Arizona,
When he
it's
tires
Lincoln
himself out, I'll tell him to
Washington's
just
Day.
send an
Montana,
email on
it's
Monday
Lincoln's
with all this
Washington's
information for
birthday.
anyone who actually
In
cares.
Utah, it's Washington Lincoln's Day. And you know what they call it in California? Do you?
Please stop.
The third Monday in February.
Okay, that's totally weird. Happy third Monday in February, everyone.
I guess a lot of like the different stories you guys have been telling have been a kind of a contrast between big school, small school, private or public. And can you guys kind of speak on how you were able to like dwindle down your school choices and what was like that final go ahead for it? Okay, this is where I want to see myself academically for the next 4 years.
How I made my decision was like, it came down to Pennsylvania University and Ohio State for me. The harder choice was I had a full ride to Pennsylvania State because I wanted to study biochemistry. And they're like, okay, you have a higher GPA, we're gonna pay for everything. But they didn't tell me that it was only gonna pay for it 1 year. It was later when I picked Ohio State. That's when I found that out. I sat down with my father, and then he was telling me, yo, if you go out of state, it's going to cost you more. It's going to be only you by yourself. If you go through car trouble, housing trouble, like it's going to take us a while for us to get there to help you. I really didn't understand that. I was much more focused on the freedom. I just want to be by myself. I just want to do everything by myself. Trust me, like you're going to have time for that after college. And then I just said, okay, I'll go to Ohio State. But what I did was I started off at Newark campus. I said, I'm going to do Newark for 2 years and I'm going to transfer to Maine. When I did that, it's actually helping me because after 2 years, I'm going to end up with an associate's degree from Newark when I come to Maine campus. And then I'm going to also get my bachelor degree. So it's like 2 degrees for 1 prize. Like that was the bonus for me. But yeah. Those are the decisions you just have to like sit with your parents and basically talk about it. Because if you plan to go out of state, it's gonna cost you. Because certain state you gotta have to like live there for like years to get scholarship from them. Like housing is gonna be on you. I'm not saying you're not gonna get the help. You're gonna get the help, but the first couple of years it's all gonna be on you. There's gonna be this, that, there, and that. Yeah, family will help, but it's just gonna take a while for them to get to you. I chose to do first year on campus And then when I did that, I seen college life and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just focus on me, my studies, my second year, and whatever that's gonna come after, like the fun, the party. I'm gonna just put that and wait till after college.
I did a total 360 before I graduated from Cristo Rey. I applied to a bunch of colleges just because I didn't know where I wanted to go, or I thought I wanted to be an out-of-state student, like go to college out of state. And I got accepted to a bunch of schools out of state. I got accepted to a bunch of schools in state too, but like I was so indecisive, and that's like one of my things that I'm working on now because I'm indecisive. But I did know for a fact that I wanted to be a nurse. That's the one thing that I didn't know. And so it was like maybe I didn't apply to Mount Carmel till almost the deadline. So I was pushing it. And it was just because like, I'm like, I don't know about that school. I don't know. And so I applied. I got accepted like maybe 2 weeks later because that's how close I was to the deadline. And what it came down to me is I really had to learn about myself. I am a homebody for sure. I do not like to be away from my family or away from like things that I know, like I'm comfortable with. I do not like going outside of my comfortable zone. So that's what I had to learn about me. I don't think that it would have worked out for me to go to a different state or even a different city, just because that I wouldn't have been comfortable there. I wouldn't have been able to get comfortable. And I knew that I needed to be comfortable to be able to complete college. And so that was a big like learning point for me. So I did a total 360 and I just was like, nope, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to go to college here. And that's pretty much what I did. And I did stay on campus for 2 years. My first year, I just stayed on campus. And then my second year, I stayed on campus and I was an RA. That's an easy way to get your dorm life paid for. Because as an RA, you don't have to pay for stuff, but there is like a workload for it. But your room and board is free. So that is the offset. But it was like, I thought it was good because like, if you like college dorm life or at least like being next to the college or close to the college, then that's just an easy way to stay on campus. And it's for free. Like the key thing is free because room and board, I'm telling you, is so expensive and you're getting like this much space. You're getting this much privacy. It's not all it's worked up to be. So if you're paying like $5,000-6,000 per semester, I'm talking semester, that's not per year, that's semester. You need to find a way to get it either cheaper or get it for free.
Well, I wanted to be a pilot, so I was just looking at schools that I could go to for that specifically. And it just came down to Ohio State and Embry-Riddle down in Florida. But Embry-Riddle, I wanted to go down there. Or I didn't want to, but I wanted to. I wanted to go down there because of the school, but it was just so far away. But at the end of the day, I mean, I had a goal. So, you know, if I had to get out of my comfort zone to accomplish that goal, I was going to do it. But it finally came down to money because, you know, my EFC was so high. So I didn't get like a lot of financial aid and I did not apply for scholarships. I didn't do it. Like I applied for scholarships. I didn't apply for scholarships. I didn't do it. I was looking at paying like over $36,000 a year for Embry-Riddle because it's a private school and it's so darn expensive. Or stay in Ohio and just go to Ohio State and still, you know, accomplish the same goal but at a lower price. So that is what made me choose Ohio State. If I had my choice, I would have gone to Embry-Riddle down in Florida because, I mean, who wouldn't want to live in Florida?
Hi students, this is Nurse Ross joining your podcast for just a medical minute. Wanted to talk to you about vaccine distribution for your teachers. A couple of kind of rumors that fly around there about vaccines that I want to address with you. Some people think that this vaccine was developed too quickly to be safe, but I want you guys to know and understand that scientists have been conducting research on COVID-19 and other related viruses for a lot of years before this pandemic ever began. So research of all vaccines, including our COVID vaccine, must first show that they're safe and effective before they can ever be authorized for use. Some people think that the vaccine will give them COVID-19 if they get vaccinated. That is not true. It does not contain a live virus, and it actually doesn't even contain a dead virus. Some vaccines contain what's called an attenuated virus, which is a dead virus, but this doesn't even contain that. It contains something very different that's a little more complex, but no virus is contained in this vaccine. There are, and even though it sounds a little bit silly, there are some rumors out there that the vaccine is going to be changing your DNA. It is not going to change your DNA. It does not have a microchip in it. It does not have any of those things. And so I want you all to know that as your parents, grandparents, teachers, staff are getting vaccinated with this vaccine, and then also hopefully your parents and grandparents very soon as well, if they haven't already. I want you to feel good about them doing that and know that it's safe and that it's helping them and also helping you all. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please let me know. You guys can always email me, aross@CristoRayColumbus.org. That's a great way to get in touch with me. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks, guys.
So I didn't know what I wanted to major in when I was graduating high school and like trying to come up with my college choices. But I did know that I wanted to move somewhere where it was warm. So I had got my volleyball offer in South Carolina. So I decided to do that. But one of the toughest things was I was homesick for like 2 months. Like the first 2 months I was there, I was like super homesick. And since I was playing volleyball, I didn't really have the opportunity to meet a lot of people when I first got there. So it was a little hard and challenging, but yeah, I got over it. I came home like every 2 months. And then, yeah, I love it though.
Something like I wanted to add to like is the difference between like living on campus and off campus. When I did the first year on campus, like it was expensive. I was like looking at 10,000 like a semester just on campus. And when I looked at the dorm and the food, like one thing I like when I'm living like in a place or a space, like it's like my food and like my living situation is important to me. But I was like, me paying 10,000 a semester just to live in like some small place, just it's not gonna cut it out for me. And the food, like I'm not a picky eater, but I'm a picky eater. So I talked to my dad. I was like, okay, can I get an apartment? And then I did that, and I got a roommate, and it my cost like in about half, like to like 5,000. So which was like my rent, my bills, and basically like paying for books. It was way better because then I'm cooking for myself, rather than like eating and they charging like that to your account. It's better like when you have those like comparison to like look at those like whenever they offer you money for like the room and board. There's always second options.
Okay, so I have the next question. So I know that a lot of challenges and struggles came from last year with COVID. And so how has it affected you like academically, like your routine that you had in college once before? Did it change? And do you have any advice for that? And another question from one of our teachers, Ms. Gilmore, is how to use technology and computer science in your classes, especially with everything transferring to Zoom calls and meetings online.
So for the COVID question, when COVID struck, oh my goodness, it was like a storm for college students all over. For nursing students, oh my goodness, like this was majority of our learning comes from clinical, and if the place that we're having clinical at is treating COVID patients, we're not allowed to go. That was a challenge. So we went completely online for the last, I think, 8 weeks of school. In January, the last 16 weeks of school. So for a full semester, we went completely online. And trying to teach someone online how to be a nurse is probably one of the most challenging things, is because like for a lot of people, a lot of nursing students, you have to do things with your hands to be able to understand what it is that you're learning. And me, I needed to be able to do it with my hands. And like, so when we had to test for stuff, and I'm just like, no, it just isn't right. This isn't fair. Like I can't comprehend what it is that I need to learn. So that was a big like learning curve for me. Like I remember in this one class, one of my nursing class, I had an A the entire like first 8 weeks that we were in that class until we went online. I took the first test and I didn't completely bomb it. Like I knew the basics and stuff like that, but I didn't do as well as I would have had we been in school and had we had a clinical. And that was something for me that I was like, COVID struck and it sucked for everybody. So I had to like reorient myself to how to learn in a different way, which I had already learned my college way of learning. And so for me to have to redo it and relearn stuff, it was just completely, it just threw me off completely for that semester. Now that I've gotten used to COVID and I work in a hospital, so I work with COVID patients on a regular basis, or I work around them. It's become really rewarding to see these people get back to being who they were before COVID, before they got COVID. And as for school, they started to make accommodations for people and then also like work around COVID. And we're back in clinical, we're back learning. It's not full time, but at least it's something. So looking on the bright side is the best thing that you have to do when in terms of school and COVID right now, because just like for you guys being online and being remote, or like some people online, it's the same way right now with college students. And it sucks because you're paying for that. So you thought that it was bad. I thought that it was bad having to time manage while going to class. No, it's even worse having to time manage while I'm sitting at a computer on my couch or in my bed. Like, what? I can go to sleep. That's how I think. Like, I need to go to sleep because I'm in my bed. When I was at school, I'm at school, so I need to do schoolwork. That's how my mind was trained. My bed is for me to sleep. School is for me to work. So I had to retrain my brain. My bed is for me to do work and to sleep. My couch is for me to do work and to watch TV. That's how COVID hit for college students, I would say.
This is Ms. Saliba, your campus minister. Next week is Ash Wednesday, which is also the first day of Lent. Lent is a time for regrounding ourselves in our faith and reorienting our lives toward God. As a part of Mass, we'll have the opportunity to have ashes spread on our forehead. Anyone who wishes to receive ashes is welcome. Ashes are an ancient symbol for repentance and grief. What we grieve in this case is that we have sinned against God. They're also a reminder of our death. On Ash Wednesday, we acknowledge that our lives are short and fragile, that our actions really do add up, and that our life is best lived being faithful and dependent on God and not busy insisting on our own way.
When COVID hit, basically we was in spring break, like when they giving us like a week of spring break, and then we found out it wasn't going back to school for another like 5 or 4 months. And then people was like basically like going crazy. COVID was like, oh, we used to this now. Now we're gonna have to like, we're not gonna meet you. You know, like it's like, so like for me, what happened was I lost my apartment when like it happened. So I had to move back home and basically change like my work schedule. The plus side, like the good thing for me was I'm taking classes online. So like I'm able to like work more. So that was like a plus side for me when that happened. But the downside was like I just lost connections with people, and basically like I was like, that's fine, but I know everything's gonna go back to normal. It's okay. Like you're staring at a screen for like 8 hours a day, like that really sucks, but it's gonna get better. Another thing was that helped us is like our school was giving out grants, like if you was like in school for that semester during spring, and like we didn't know that, so like people were checking their account and they're like, oh hey, this money dropped, and they're like, huh, what? And somebody's like, oh no, I didn't do well this semester, and somebody's like, oh yeah, I did, and they're like, okay. So it's like there are like the benefits, the ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I know they're still like offering those grants now, for like housing, for food, for people still choosing to live on campus, commuting and all that. But yeah.
No, I totally agree with what you guys are saying, especially about just being in college in general and the experiences that you guys have. I mean, we kind of get that with COVID happening now. You'll see me sitting like tea on my bed, and then it gets real comfortable, kind of feel the light bouncing. Like, maybe I should go to sleep. But we stay up because you got to get your work done, and it's hard to do that. But I'm glad that I know that other people are going through it, and it's kind of the same in college with COVID going on. So thank you for sharing that experience. We actually have 2 more questions from Miss Smith. She asked, as an RA, you have to deal with other students' problems. How do you deal with these distractions? And then she asked another question for the entire group. What materials do you guys use to help you get through your college studies and just in class? And how do you think we could do that at Cristo Rey?
So for the RA question, dealing with other people's problems and issues is very tiring. But it was kind of rewarding because you get to learn how other people operate and how other people deal with other people. So that's one thing when you move into, like if you go the dorm route and you want to move into a dorm or an apartment with people, I got to learn how other people work, and that in order to get along with your roommates and stuff, it can't be all what one person wants. It has to be a community, and you guys have to work together to make sure that whatever your environment or whatever type of environment that you want to have in your household, where you lay your head at, is conducive for everyone. So being an RA was kind of challenging in that, like, you're working with multiple different personalities, multiple different people who come from different backgrounds, who have different values and different beliefs. And sometimes it works out great. Like, they get along, they never have any problems. And sometimes it can be a complete disaster. You just learn how to de-escalate things, and you can take the stuff that I didn't think that I was learning anything when I was RA, but I definitely was, especially because, like, you can take things that you learn how to de-escalate issues with people that they thought was the, like, worst thing in the world, when honestly it was like an easy fix. Like, I became a mediator in most situations, and I use that in my nursing path right now, because you'll get a lot of different things, like families fighting or like patients disagreeing with doctors, and you can just, as a nurse, you are a mediator. Like, you fix things but you didn't think that you would be involved in. So, like, I use stuff that I learned as a RA to things in my life. Like, when me and someone I'm like associating with are arguing or having a disagreement, I have to take a step back. Like, I used to tell my residents, is it that big of an issue? If it is, then what is something that you think that needs to be fixed, and what is something that you think that you're doing that may be irritating them, which is causing them to do that? Like, you have to take a step back. And that, like, a lot of people use like you statements. No, you need to use like I feel statements. Like, that is what's gonna like de-escalate a situation the best way. Like, if you're like, I feel like when you don't like wash your dishes and I have to clean that up, it really frustrates me, instead of saying you need to wash your dishes, and get it on my nerves. Like, you don't have to talk to people that way. So that was like one thing that helped me to learn how to talk to people, and like how to be a better RA and help people to get through their issues, because that's pretty much what RAs do: get through their issues and like make people follow the rules.
About like the having like your material for school. I mean, since like I had like that tough break when I lost my support system, which is my car. But how I like basically got like my books paid for was just reaching out to there's like a advocacy center at Ohio State. I did that. I reached out to them through Miss Didi when I was talking to her. She's like, you need to reach out to them. And also Cristo Rey, alumni support was also a great help. Like, now I'm getting back on my feet. Hopefully by the end of this semester I'll have like new ride and everything will be back to normal.
Hey guys, Ruby here, and on our Black History Month, it's time for the African American Historical Heroes Challenge. Can you be the first student in your grade level to email Mr. Corrigan with a one-sentence description of the impact of the following historical figure? Okay, here it goes. The African American historical hero for today is Daniel Hale Williams. If you are the first student to email Mr. Corrigan with an accurate description, you will earn 3 bonus points in your social study class or your English class. Good luck!
Don't buy your book from the school store. I'm telling you this, you're gonna waste like $500 for like 2 books, and like where did my money went? Like, I was crying like when that happened, but I figured you can rent books off of Amazon for like $12, for $15. You can basically get your books paid for by just like if you Google like college like book, like it will give you a lot of websites. Like, and if you need them, like reach out. I can like pile them, send them to Miss Didi. She can share with you for the seniors. So you guys don't go waste like $500, thousands of dollars at the bookstore. Like, just like to save you money for a year.
Also, check with your teacher and make sure you actually need the book, because they will put that on the syllabus and then y'all never open the book, and then you wasted $250 on a book that you were never actually going to use. So when in the first day of class, they always go over the syllabus, and some professors will tell you, we won't use this book, but we have to have a required book for the class just in case a student claims that they never learned anything. Well, there's a book for you to learn whatever it is. Like, that's half the time I don't use any books that they put on those syllabus because they don't want us, or not that they don't want us to, it's just they have better resources that are free and they provide notes that have the same content from the books for you. So there's no reason for you to go waste money on books that they're already going to give you the content for.
I would say to utilize campus resources. So at my school, we have like a writing center. We have like a whole freshman college. They like let us print out our papers, or if you need to like talk about anything, they'll let you go in there and they'll help you out with that. Yeah, definitely utilize any resources that your college has. Even with like going to your professors and advisors, you're paying for it, so you might as well use it for sure.
Like, I agree with that. Like, I just wanted to talk about that. Like, if you have a question about something that's like, you just don't understand, like maybe a lecture or whatever, ask your instructor, teacher's assistant, whoever, because you will pay for them. Like, your advisor, all of them, you're paying for. Like, I had to schedule my own classes this semester, and it was confusing. Like, it was really confusing trying to set like my times and everything. I had to ask my advisor to help me throughout, and I'm paying for that, so I'm going to use it. So just use it. Don't be scared to ask questions. Just do what you gotta do.
Oh, and also it's okay to ask people around you, like students that it's like a year ahead of you, or it's about to graduate. Because trust me, they know where all the good resources are. They will help you save tons of money, like just basically making sure. And sometimes they'll help you with like picking certain classes that are is gonna help count towards your credit for graduation. I found somebody that had the same major as me, and he was like, oh yeah, in this year, these are the classes you're gonna take. These are the professors you need to take them with. And these are where you're gonna get your books. Oh, and I thought he was joking. And then I hit my second year and I'm like, oh, okay. Now these resources are coming in handy. So if you ask those questions, it's a great help. It's okay not to know. It's okay. They'll help you find it as long as you ask.
Wow, a great way to wrap up today's episode. All good advice from the panelists. Thank you so much. We'll definitely be taking that advice, especially the stuff about money, because I know college is hard for y'all with that in that department. All right, want to thank you for coming, and thank you all the guests who showed up today to listen to today's episode. Have a wonderful night, and I hope you come again to listen to anything else that we have. Good luck, college students. Hopefully we'll see you again.
And last but not least, we have a message today from Helen.
Hey guys, so this is me saying goodbye, leaving the podcast because I will be leaving Cristo Rey since I moved the house, and I'll also be moving a school. It had been fun working with you guys, and it's been really nice being on the podcast because it was really fun talking to different people and getting to know Dr. Raglan because I didn't know her before, so it was really fun. So thank you guys and goodbye.
But thank you. You always bring like a new perspective into the podcast. So thank you for being able to be a part of us and get to know you, because I don't really get to know a lot of other people from other classes. So I'm glad I met you, Helen. And I'm really sad that you have to leave.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
I'm going to miss you, Helen.
Me too. I didn't know you were leaving. It's been nice working with you on the podcast, and it's been nice to have friendship with you ever since freshman year. And I don't know, just nice to know you as a person. Well, we're going to miss you so much.
I'll miss you guys too.
I'm so sad to see you go, because I remember the first time I met you, we're in Mr. Shoemaker's class, and she was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, you are confident. I was like, no, I just say things and it happens to work out. And now look at you on the podcast and we meet again and you're working at my old job. Like, you're taking the right steps. You're going to go places. So I'm glad I got to know you. And I know you're going to do amazing wherever you go. Please keep taking the opportunities, because you're doing great. All right. And I know you'll do amazing wherever you go.
Well, thank you. Because that speech that night, I aspired to be like my big sis. So here I am.
You'll forever be my little sister. I miss you.
But there might be a little tweak. I might come back my senior year, so you never know. Don't just get rid of me like that. I'll be back.
Helen, we're going to hold you to that.
You'll be missed and you'll always be welcomed back. Hey, Mr. Carwigan again. This week, instead of ending with the regular podcast theme, we have something actually good. Sophomore Sophia is going to sing us out with a special love song for Valentine's Day.